This is Twit.
Didn't Apple come out with a all new, I quote, all new. Here's where we get snarky. The all new MacBook Pro 16, which isn't actually all new, but I'll sorry for interrupting.
You'll snark on that in a moment. So Daring Fireball, one of the chosen few that receives early Macintosh products to review, like this is like a list of 4 or 5 people, has a great, I will call it harsh, take on the new 16-inch Mac Pro. Quote, while the keyboard's de-Joni-ivification is good, we shouldn't be celebrating the return of features we shouldn't have lost. What are we talking about here? Well, the stupid keyboard layout changes. And one of the things that Daring Fireball talks about is there was a lot of indications that many things were being done because they were pleasing aesthetically, even if they made things enormously difficult to use. For example, the keyboards that kept failing. But now with the 16-inch MacBook Pro, arrow keys are back in a T layout. There's additional spacing on the keyboard. The keyboard design has been changed to something that actually works. Haha. And doesn't require repair, constant. But this is an actual scissor key mechanism keyboard, no butterfly switches, and there's a hardware escape key, which I think is a big deal on any Apple device. And this is good. A little bit thicker than the 15-inch models. But oddly enough, and I think this is where you'll start snarking, using pretty much the exact same processors.
Yeah.
Daring Fireball notes that, quote, the new 16-inch MacBook Pro is not covered by Apple's keyboard service program because they apparently don't need to be. We wait with bated breath to find out if that's true. These are, as always, MacBook Pros are not inexpensive laptops. It's like $2,400 for a 6-core base model, $2,800 for the 8-core base model. But these, again, the same CPUs that came out in the May update to the 15-inch MacBook Pro. But you're also talking about, they've got AMD Radeon Pro 5000 M series GPUs as an option. You can get up to 64 gigabytes of RAM in one of these, which is epic, especially if you're a video editor. And you can max it out with an 8 terabyte SSD if you want to cut the check.
Is there any 8 terabyte SSD that exists?
Rumor has it
Express
they are the
SSDs.
first one.
Yeah, and it's soldered directly to the board, which is also nuts. So,
well, a lot of storage is soldered to the board on a lot of laptops.
I'm just saying, like that kind of density, there's either 4 or 8 chips soldered to the board, right, and they're getting 8 terabytes. So they're using really dense NAND flash there, an integrated controller. Yeah. So that's going to be the most expensive logic board in the history of Apple, I bet.
Well, it's basically the entire computer and everything on it. Yeah. And apparently the speakers are pretty fantastic too. If you plan to be using your 2500 to God knows how much laptop to listen to YouTube videos, they should be good.
And honestly, okay, to be fair, $2,400 for a professional grade, like portable workstation, is not outrageous. Right. If you're a consumer, that looks insane. But like
for a pro, it's quite reasonable.
Yeah, right. You're buying the 16-inch screen that's, ultra high quality, beautiful color, full Adobe color gamut, P3 color, all that stuff, and it's got.
And they increased they increased the pixel density in this one. So they go from the 15-inch to the 16-inch. They actually made the pixels smaller and increased the pixel density on this, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
So,
which means
the screens of these are absolutely gorgeous. Better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think it's funny that the Magic Keyboard, which I'm looking up here, Apple launched on October 13, 2015. Is now incorporated into their MacBook Pro with its, and by the way, if you haven't used one, even if you hate Apple products, try using one of their Magic Keyboards. Any of them you can get your hands on. They have this 1mm key travel that's crisp, has a little bit of a click to it, and I got used to it quickly when I was using one, and you can type really fast in those things, and it feels really accurate. I think they're great. But
there's nothing wrong with them.
No. And amazingly, their scissor switch mechanism is fairly robust. And except for committing the cardinal sin of having 1mm of key travel and therefore requiring that extra millimeter of space, they I don't know. Like they had to make everything as thin and miraculous as possible, I guess, before. And there was this obsession with getting away from physical keys completely, I think was the goal. But
getting away from keyboards.
Yeah, I mean, just you need 2 touchpads, right? That's always going to work.
And a pen. So Johnny can draw.
Except the iPad Pro has a touchscreen and a pen, and the MacBook Pro doesn't have a touchscreen and can't use the pen. But it's kind of a weird thing. It's like a Franken Mac. It's like a fan developed this, and Apple said, "All right, we'll make it. We'll use 2015 keyboard. We'll give you the screen density you're asking for." But then the funny thing is, this is reality, and Intel still hasn't delivered 10 nanometer to the masses, and so there are no 10 nanometer parts in these things, which you'd think the absolute newest, and like this will be called the late 2019 MacBook Pro 16. And it's using an 8th or 9th gen part. It's all still based on Skylake. You're not getting the hardware benefits of 10th generation. So,
yeah, it is what it is.